What's going on, everyone? It's time to talk about the legendary Taxi Driver. It was released by Columbia Pictures, February 8th, 1976. It was written by Paul Schrader, produced by Michael and Julia Phillips, and it was directed by Martin Scorsese. And if you're not familiar with that name, he is the one who did like Goodfellas, The Irishman, The Wolf of Wall Street, and The Departed, to name a few. So Taxi Driver is a story about a Vietnam vet who comes back from the war, and yeah, he is basically psychotic though, and he descends into like this weird sort of madness as he's a cab driver. So he drives around and he looks for people, and he learns about like this one girl's dark, hard past and like what she's going through, and she opens up to him a bit, and he kind of gets this like delusional idea to help her, and basically becomes obsessed and becomes more into her and stuff, and then wants to get her out. So he goes into this mad really mad phase where he basically gets a handgun and goes to assassinate the mobsters or whatever, gang or whatever it is, and goes and tries to help her, and then ends up actually hurting her and stuff, and it's not as it seems. Yeah, this is quite the interesting film. So people are gonna, I could tell people are gonna view this in different ways than probably I did. But I actually thought this film was pretty well done. I liked pretty much all the characters are pretty well fleshed out, and just the way you have like this like almost sense of dread with them as you're driving around the cab, and it takes a while for things to happen, but yeah, it's purposely done like that, I think, because it builds that emotional impact when something happens. So when it actually does happen, it has a stronger effect on you than because some of them you know what's going to happen. Some things just come out of left field, and yeah, but the acting is superb in this, and yeah, cinematography, directing, everything is really well done. I kind of wish there was a little more like conflict with some of the characters or something that spice it up maybe a little bit, but other than that, there's not really much to complain about this movie. Yeah, you have to be in the right mindset, I think, to watch it, though. It can be very bleak and dark in certain aspects, and it's definitely more of a harder film to watch if you're not in the right mindset to watch it. This type of film. Martin Scorsese has some pretty interesting flicks, and this is one of them, where, yeah, it's probably not going to be for everyone, but it definitely has quite the impact, and it's definitely way different than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more of a thrill, but this is more of like a drama depiction of someone who is not all there and anymore after post-traumatic stress and all this other stuff, and yeah, and it pushes them, and you see that a lot in horror films like Jacob's Ladder and things like that, but this one was more of a subdued dramatization of it, which was a little more interesting and made it a little less like theatrical and more real. And I really like that, and I like the whole premise of it. And there's some political sense and stuff mixed in there, which was okay, but yeah, but it was a pretty good film, really well done, I thought. So yeah, I'm going to give Taxi Driver 4.5 out of 5. There's not much really to complain about, besides, like, I wish there's probably, like, a little more conflict, maybe add a little more tension to it. I probably would have beefed it up and made it a little bit better, but, yeah, other than that, it's pretty much really well done. So, check it out if you haven't seen it. The trailer's linked down below, like always. If it's something you're interested in, you can check that out. Also linked down below is my Instagram. So I always post clips of films I'm going to review in the future on my stories. The film title hashtags, I'm showing a film hashtags so you're aware of it. Also linked down below is my Letterbox at Derek P Reviews. That's where I post my first star rating right after watching the films. Follow me on one of those two channels, Follow me on one of those two platforms, stay in loop with this channel. Like this video, share so more people are aware of it. Comment your opinions of the film down below if you have any. If you have any other films or film franchises in any genre that you want to hear my opinions on in the future, comment those down below. I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can, and if I can find them. And make sure you subscribe, because hopefully we'll find something weird, obscure, and on that you probably never thought of checking out together. Also, so you can hear my opinions on classic films, somewhat like this, popular films coming out of time, and other things. Don't forget to ring that bell, because we're going to take a break from the 70s drama, because I'm craving a horror film. So I think I might check out Poltergeist remake. I heard it's really terrible, but I'll be the judge of that. So make sure you ring that bell and tune in for that one. And yeah. But that's it for this one, so watch out for all those psychotic taxi drivers trying to take over. I guess I'll see you all in the next review. So until then, cheers.